Hi, everyone. Today I will tell a horror story titled The Balcony Seats Were Never Empty. Wishing you all a thrilling to listen.
Some seats are never sold, and some audiences never leave. Even in an empty theater, you can feel their eyes on you. I got my first job as an usher at the Majestic Cinema when I was 17. The place was ancient, velvet curtains, creaky floors, a massive chandelier dusted with cobwebs. But the part that always gave me chills was the balcony. A faded horseshoe of seats high above the main auditorium, shut off from the public since the 70s. Most nights, the only people who went up there were the ushers sweeping popcorn or the odd manager looking for leaks in the roof. During my first week, old Carl, the head usher, warned me. Don't bother with the balcony unless you have to. Place gives everyone the creeps. He said it half joking, but I could tell he meant it. Still, my first late shift, I had to check it out. The final show had ended and the theater was empty, that hollow silence echoing in my ears as I climbed the old staircase. My flashlight beam shook over the worn carpet and faded rows. As soon as I reached the top, I felt it. A drop in temperature, the kind that raises every hair on your arms. I chalked it up to drafty old buildings. I started at one end, swinging my light over each seat. For a split second, I thought I saw someone sitting in the very back row, a dark, slouched figure, unmoving, but when I blinked, it was gone. My chest tightened. I checked every row, finding only shadows and dust. Maybe my nerves were just shot from a long shift. The next few weeks, nothing much happened. But every time I closed up, I felt eyes on me from the balcony, an itch between my shoulder blades. I'd glance up and catch shapes in the darkness, never clear, never close enough to make out a face. My friends joked the place was haunted. I started locking the balcony door after every shift, hoping that would help. Then came the night I had to close alone. The final show ran late, and by the time the audience cleared out, it was well past midnight. The lobby lights clicked off as I swept up popcorn and soda cups. I was just about to head home when I heard it, faint but clear, the unmistakable sound of seats creaking upstairs, as if someone was shifting in their chair. I froze, every instinct screaming at me to ignore it, but the manager would have had my head if I left without checking. I forced myself up the stairs, the air growing colder with every step. When I reached the balcony, the seats were empty, but I could still hear the sounds, soft whispers, like an audience waiting for a show to begin. My flashlight flickered, throwing strange shapes across the ceiling. Suddenly, I heard breathing, slow, steady, as if someone was sitting just behind me. I spun around, heart pounding, but there was nothing there. I rushed back down, locked up, and tried to shake the feeling of being followed. For days after, I avoided the balcony, but every shift I'd glance up and see what looked like figures in the shadows. No one else seemed to notice. One night, During a big storm, the power went out when I was sweeping. The emergency lights barely lit the lobby. That's when I saw it, clear as day. 3 people sitting in the back row of the balcony, just outside the edge of the light. I watched, frozen, as one leaned forward, staring straight at me. I called out, "The theater's closed!" But the words died in my throat. The figures didn't move. They just watched. When the lights flickered back on, the balcony was empty. But from that night on, I'd see wet footprints leading down from the stairs, even when it hadn't rained. Sometimes, in the hush before a movie started, I'd hear faint laughter or applause from above. Carl pulled me aside a week later. He looked more serious than usual. He whispered, "If you ever see someone in the balcony after hours, don't talk to them. Don't even look too long. Just leave and lock the doors. Trust me." I never asked him why. I never wanted to know. But sometimes, when the theater is quiet and the last audience has left, I'll catch a glimpse of those balcony seats and feel the hairs stand up on my neck. Now, whenever I close the Majestic at night, I lock up quickly and never look back. Because I know some seats are never empty, and some audiences never leave.
If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to subscribe for more.